We're going to go over how to soundproof a room. We're going to talk about the difference between soundproofing and acoustics, the key principles to understand when trying to soundproof a room, the steps to actually soundproof the room, and things to definitely avoid when trying to soundproof a room. So, without further ado, let's go! Welcome or welcome back to Second Skin Audio, where we teach you how to solve your heat and sound issues. We're keeping the world cool and quiet, one project at a time. First, let's understand the difference between soundproofing and acoustics. Soundproofing is all about blocking noise from one space to another space. Acoustics, on the other hand, is all about reducing the echo and reverb within one space. So just because you may have a soundproof room doesn't mean you'll have an acoustically treated room, and vice versa. Just because you may reduce the echo and reverb within a room doesn't mean sound isn't traveling from that room to another room. That's a common misconception we get all the time. Putting acoustic panels in a room will not block the sound. Now let's talk about the key principles to understand when soundproofing a room. The first principle to understand when soundproofing a room is air tightness. Sound behaves a lot like water. When soundproofing a room, imagine you're trying to create a pool and fill that room with water. Any leaks in that space will let sound through, just like any leaks in a pool will let water through. The second principle to understand is density. Bricks will block more sound than paper. So when soundproofing a room, it's important to use dense materials that will actually block sound. The third principle that matters is isolation. You need to isolate at least one side of your wall assembly to seriously boost soundproofing performance. When you isolate at least one side of the assembly, less sound is able to transfer through it, further boosting soundproofing performance against impact and airborne noise. Another thing that matters when soundproofing a wall is the airspace between the two well-sealed barriers. A larger airspace will boost soundproofing performance. Another factor that matters is adding absorptive material or insulation in the cavity. As sound travels through the airspace between the two well-sealed barriers, the insulation or sound absorption will absorb that sound, making even less sound able to escape and travel through to the other side, further boosting soundproofing performance. When adding insulation or sound absorption material in the cavity, it's important not to overstuff. Now, I'm going to tell you how to soundproof your room in 4 easy steps. The first step is to identify your weak points. Remember, sound behaves like water, and any leaks or gaps in the space, sound will go straight through. Weak points in a room are typically the doors and windows. So, if your doors aren't well sealed or if your doors are completely hollow, sound is going straight through that door. Now you have 2 options. Number 1, you can upgrade your door from a hollow core door to a solid core door, and then get one of our door seal kits. Or if you have higher soundproofing needs, you can look into our SoundLock soundproof door. For windows, you can use our fantastic frame window inserts, or if you have a higher soundproofing need, look into our True Acoustics soundproof window. Other weak points include gaps around the perimeter, such as behind baseboards, electrical outlets, HVAC vents, or pipes. These are all areas that sound can leak outside of a room. Use acoustical sealant to seal any gaps, such as behind the baseboards where your floor meets your walls, electrical sockets and outlets, and any other gaps that can cause sound to leak outside of that room. To get effective wall and ceiling soundproofing, you have to start from the studs and the joists. Now, there are many wall and ceiling assemblies out there. I would list them all for you, but I know you don't have all day. So, I'm going to list 3 wall and ceiling assemblies in a good, better, and best category for you, just so you can get an idea on what makes a good ceiling and wall assembly and the level of soundproofing performance that you're going for. One thing they all have in common is using acoustical sealant to seal the gaps and edges in the wall and ceiling assembly. Also, they all use 5/8 inch thick drywall. Now, as a starting point, a typical residential wall has an STC rating of between 28 and 32, depending on how well sealed it is. Now, all 3 assemblies that I'm about to go over is significantly better than that standard setup. So, for each category, we're going to go over 2 options. So first, let's start with the good category. The first option is to use an RC channel. For this, we recommend the Clark Dietrich RC1 Deluxe. The second option is to use 1 pound of mass-loaded vinyl attached directly to the studs. With either option, you can expect an STC rating in the high 40s. Now, let's move on to the better category. The first option is using Soundproof drywall. Now, Soundproof drywall is its own product category. The two common ones are Quiet Rock and Soundbreak XP. Now, the second option in the better category is to use green glue. Now, using either option in the better category can net you an STC rating in the low 50s. Now, let's move on to the best category. The first option is to use the RISC 1 sound isolation clips or use double-studded walls. Using either option will net you an STC rating in the high 50s. Now, you can always combine multiple strategies that were previously mentioned to achieve even higher STC ratings. Feel free to reach out to us for a specific recommendation that is custom to your exact needs and STC rating requirements. So, at this point, we talked about 5 out of the 6 surfaces of your room. We've covered all 4 walls and the ceiling. All that's left is the floors. The floors are extremely important, especially if you have high IIC requirements. We would recommend one of our rubber underlayments, that is Underblock or Underblock HD, to prevent sound from flanking and going down to adjacent rooms below. Now that you understand how to soundproof a room, let's go over what not to do when soundproofing a room. Number 1 is just using acoustic panels and thinking that they'll block sound. That's a common misconception we see all the time. Acoustic panels will not block sound. They're meant to absorb sound within a space. That means reducing the echo and reverb. They are not meant for soundproofing. Another don't is leaving any gaps in your soundproofing construction. Sound will travel through any gaps that you leave open, reducing your overall soundproofing performance. Lastly, don't believe everything you see on the internet. Soundproofing can be a very nuanced project and with a lot of variables that can affect the soundproofing performance that you achieve. It's very easy to get something wrong. So if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. To learn more about common mistakes when soundproofing, watch our Soundproof Myths video where we go more in depth. Thanks for watching.